Well, good morning, folks. It's Richard the Fishing Machine right here. Now, I'm looking for some shad right here, and they're flipping right in here. Matter of fact, I see two scoes. I see a big scoe right there, then a scoe right over here. So let's see if we can throw one time and be one and done with catching bait this morning, because I'm eager to get to fishing. Today's going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to I'll explain it to you right here, but yeah, let's get up here on this bait. Y'all might be able to see them fluttering right there in front of me. Okay, and we'll throw on them just like that. And I threw right over the top of them, or I believe I did. And let's see if we're going to be one and done right here. I've done got my live bait tank running and every. Oh, look here, folks. Oh my! I should have been ready for all this. That's some good bait right there. Now let's see how many we got. We got too many. So I'm just gonna put a few in there like that. And oh, I'm excited. Y'all know what those are? Those are thread fin shad. Thread fins. Not gizzards, but thread fins. Okay. Y'all excuse me for getting excited, because to be honest with y'all, I've been having trouble finding the right size bait, and that's the right size bait for what we're going to be doing today. And it's not only the right size bait, it's what I was wanting, the species I was wanting today. Today we're going to do something a little bit different in a way, because today we're going to fish for whatever bites. I'm not going to put a target on any certain species, and that's normally what I do on this channel. But today we're just going to, whatever bites is what we're going to try to catch. And we might catch a few fish that's good eating too. And I have a bucket right here with some ice on it. I'm still excited, because that's the kind of bait that I've been wanting for a while. You know, folks, the fact of the matter is, oftentimes I have to settle myself down. And, you know, that's just how excited I get when it comes to the sport of fishing. But I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing today and why it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going out on a limb, and I'm fishing with 1,000 size Daiwa reel right here, loaded with 8-pound test, high-vis suffix braid. And that's what's going to make it extremely fun, because some of these areas that I'm going into has got some big bass and possibly stripers, catfish. There's no telling what's in here right now. It just depends, if you hit the day right, what's in these areas. This is a 1/8 ounce egg weight, little bitty swivel, and I've got a leader here about a foot long with a size 4 Yamakatsu hook, and that's a knotless knot I have right there on that, and right there on the swivel, 2 Palomar knots. So it's a very, very strong as far as the connections go. But I may change that a little bit later to a little bigger hook. I'm not for sure. It just depends on what kind of fish I find, folks. Today's going to be a little bit different, because whatever bites is what I'm going to be after. Now, let me show you what we're doing as far as this bait is concerned and what size. And actually that size 4 hook is a little bit small, okay, for the size of bait that we have in this bucket. But I may end up using it anyway. It might just be good enough. I mean, after all, we're actually This is light action stuff, but for what we're doing, it's a light action way of, ultralight action way of catching fish, if that makes any sense. This should be a lot of fun. Y'all hang with me. All right, folks, the first thing is, now I dumped these thread fins into a basket right here. It's got a noodle right here, and on the bottom of the basket right here, now I built this myself, it's got weights that weights it down. Now the reason why I do that is to let the scales clear off of the bait fish, and also the slime coat, if any, was disrupted and knocked off of the bait fish. That way when I put them into this extreme bait tank, okay, the filters is not going to get full of scales and slime, because if you immediately do that, that's what'll happen, and that's not what we want to do. So these has been in here long enough, so we're going to start dipping them out. Okay, now this is some good bait right here. These are thread fin shad, and I might go ahead, if I was smart, and put a little bigger hook on here, because you know I don't like to lose fish, and we're already at a disadvantage using this little light tackle, which is something I love. I love to be at a disadvantage when it comes to fishing. But these are primo shad right here. Okay, let's get that piece of eelgrass out of there. We don't want that to get in a pump. But my goodness, I want you to look at the shad right here, and these are good ones. Yeah, I'm going to put a bigger hook on, no doubt, and then we can have the fun. But I'm going to get all these shad and put in here. Now I get a lot of questions about the exact amount of rock salt that I put into these tanks. Well, to be honest with you, for a 15-gallon tank, and that's what I have right here on this extreme bait tank, it's 15 gallons, 8 ounces is what's required. Okay, suggested 8 ounces. So that's 8 ounces is a cupful. Exactly a cupful. We about got them out right here. Okay, that's some good bait. Yeah, I'm not gonna I'm gonna go ahead and put a size 2 hook on here. I'm not gonna use that size 4. But the cast net that I used, now if you want a good cast net that sinks really quick, this is it. This is a bait buster, and I'm using a 1/4 inch mash, and it's a 6-foot bait buster. They're expensive nets, and they're made in Florida, but I'm gonna tell you what, they sink quick and they're great for catching bait. What I do right here, this is a measuring cup, one of Mama Sue's. 1 cup is 8 ounces. That's what's suggested for 15 gallons of rock salt or ice cream salt. You don't want to use anything that's got iodine in it, because what it'll do, it'll kill your shad. So sometimes if you're having trouble with them living, you can use 12 ounces. That's max for 15 gallons. So that's how I measure my salt. All right, folks, let's get us a minnow out of here. I changed to a size 2 hook. That size 1 is just, I mean, that size 4 I had just too small for this size of shad. Look at that shad. Look at that shad, folks. Look how white and bleached out he is. That's the count of that tank being white, bleached out on the inside of it. Ain't that cool? Them fish they'll be able to spot these shad quick. But let's make another cast right there and see what we can do. Now points is real productive this time of the year. Real productive. This is the time of the year that I start fishing points, especially on the back side of them. whereas you can see the wind's blowing towards me. I'm always going to face into the wind and throw into the wind on these points, just always. That seems to be way more productive, fishing them that way. All right, let's make another cast out there. That's about where I caught that fish, that last fish. But usually on shad this size, these are like 4.5 to 5 inches long. They're big thread fin. I wait about 4 to 5 seconds and then go ahead and stick them. Look here, we done got another bite. Look, 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 look. Or I think so. He's just sitting there with it. Let's see. What's going on right here? Yeah, that fish is on there. That fish didn't want to move a muscle. That was a weird strike. Looky here. Oh, this is a surprise. This is another sauger right here. Let's flip him in here. Good one too. That's a doggone good fish, right? Oh, you got to watch these fish. Now they got real sharp right here on the side. Their gill rakers right here will cut you wide open, folks. I knew that wasn't a bass from the way he hit, but that's another keeper. Let's just put him in the bucket. That's another keeper, I guarantee you. See what we got. Oh yeah, 15 and a quarter. 15 and a quarter. Let's put him in the bucket. That one right there is going to get lonely if I don't put him in the bucket. Well, y'all remember when I told y'all that there's no telling what we're going to catch. I meant it. This time of the year. Here's a big old, I'm going to save that one. I don't want them that big, probably about like that. If that's what's in here is sauger, that's fine. There's a lot of sauger out here. I tell you, one of the things I used to do is throw a 20 plus crankbait or a Pose 400, both of those, and I'd catch a lot of sauger on some of these humps and stuff just off of the main creek channels. This time of the year, sauger's moving around a lot, folks. Now this time of the year, a lot of bait will get on the backside of these wind-blown points like this. In the fall, you know, it starts getting pretty windy, and that's what happens. The wind blowing across a point like that, a lot of times shad will stack right in behind on the backside, and all different kinds of species take advantage of that, of all that bait. Whoop. Yeah, there's a fish, there's a fish. Let's let him have it a little bit. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Y'all ready? Golly, what have we got? This is a heavy doggone fish right here. There ain't no telling what it is. Okay. They ain't no telling what it is. Oh my goodness gracious. I got him on credit right there, folks. Or is he wrapped around the, that's a good fish right here. Big old sauger. Quit. Golly bum. Man, oh man. Wow, ain't that something? He bit that net. Let go of that net. What's wrong with you? 15 and a half. I tell you what I'm gonna do. Being that I caught him like I did, he was hooked. right in here somewhere. I'm just gonna let this fish go. Okay, let's let him go. I'm having trouble right here seeing my bait. I like to dip them up one at a time. I don't like to get a net full of them. So this is foam off right here. It removes, let's see what it says. It removes harmful surface foam from bait tanks. Okay, and also it makes your bait a lot more friskier, but it don't take much. Just do that, and it won't be long, and all those bubbles right there, see how they're depleting? It won't be long and all those bubbles will be gone. Now I can see my bait. Matter of fact, look at there, about every one of them, all them bubbles are gone. It didn't take but a New York second now to see my bait. See, I like to take and catch one bait at a time, just like that. All right, let's hook him right there. Open his mouth and right out his nostril like that. And I've mentioned this, what that does, it allows, a lot of people will hook both lips. I don't do that. What it does, it allows that water to go through that bait fish's mouth and then over his gills, and that'll keep them real frisky. And that's what you want. You want that right there, just like that shad's acting. See that? That's what you want. It'll get immediate attention. If there's a fish anywhere around, he'll get caught. We've already caught supper. A sauger apiece, one for me and one for Mama Sue. But we'll see. All right, my minnows on the bottom, and all I do is just let that minnow swim around, folks. But I'm just letting that minnow swim around, hunting a fish. Even though there's a lot of bait in here, folks, it don't make no difference. When you put a hook into a bait fish, it's amazing how a predator fish will find the one that's hooked. The reason is he's acting different than others. That's the exact reason. These fish are only out for one thing, and that's to pick off the injured shad that's in a school. They're used to doing that, the weaker ones. They're a lot easier to catch, and it's just a looky. I want y'all to look right there. Golly. But look. I'm getting another bite. I'm getting there another one. All right, let's see what we got. Boy, now that one's pulling. That one is pulling. My. That's a bass, or I think it is. He come to the surface, but he didn't jump. Ain't that odd? May not be a bass either, folks. But it is. It's a bass. Okay. Them saugers got me all tore up. My goodness. Golly, man, oh man. That's not a bad little fish right there. He's just barely hooked. And that's what I like right there. Barely hooked. Okay. Let's just let him go. That's probably a darn 2.5 pounder at least. He's got a little birthmark right there on his tail. Look at there. Man, what a blessing. Is that not a blessing? That's a doggone blessing. So see, when I caught these thread fins like that, that's why I was so excited at the beginning, folks, is because I knew that we would do probably this good, if not better. And this size is important when it comes to fishing, as far as bait's concerned. I mean, these are definitely too big for crappie. For crappie, which I've mentioned before, I don't like a shad no longer than 3 inches max. And the reason is because they're so broad right across here. 3-inch shad makes a big bait for a crappie. But those big white crappie they'll eat them without any trouble. Let's get on up here and see what else we can come up with. There's a lot of fish in here. That was a heck of a front that come over last night, and I sort of felt like, you know, I'd have a little bit of a tough time today catching fish because of it. But now all fronts are not that way. Some fronts is right opposite. Those fish bite real well after the front goes through. So, you know, it's not always that way. But right now they're chewing. Look, I'm done bit again. See that? Oh, I lost him. Oh my goodness. That might have been a... Ooh. Folks, that could have been a sauger. It felt like it. It was either a sauger or a small bass. One or the other. Quit. But that was either a sauger or a small bass. I don't know which one it was. All I know is as soon as it hit the bottom, that fish had it. There he is. Let's let him go with it. And that fish hit in a different location. Let's see what we got. I don't have no idea, folks. He don't feel like a bass. I believe we got another sauger or something right here. Now it could be, but I don't know. He's fighting. It's a good fish, whatever he is. Huh. I'm just gonna let him wear out, whatever he is. Now, it don't take much of a fish. It could be a bass. It is. No, look. Oh, my goodness, folks. Oh, my. It's a striper. It's a striper. This is the time of the year that you don't know what you're going to catch. It's a small striper, but on this kind of tackle, it's a good one. Points, folks. It's all about points right now. There we go. Good striper. And he spit that shad out. Let's get here, look. See that shad right there? That he spit out? Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Yeah, that poor old fish right there, yeah, is big enough to go in the cooler, because what we're going to do with him is I'm going to smoke that fish right there. These fish right here are delicious smoked on the smoker. Let's put him right here. Man, oh man, oh man. Folks, it's one of them kind of days, multi-species, which I knew it would be. Now this is just what I call a just right size striper to smoke. This fish is going to be delicious on the smoker. The way I smoke them is like you would mullet. You know, for those of y'all who smoked mullet, and you're going to have to be from Florida probably. I believe they do that in Louisiana too, but smoked mullet to me is delicious. These fish right here, when smoked, taste a lot like mullet. So I'm going to put that one in the bucket. There's a lot of different variety. So there's a lot of different species of fish that's really waking up right now. And the reason why is because the water temperature is starting to fall. And that creates more activity from all these fish. So we're going to eat. We're going to definitely eat. That's good eating. And fish is high Oh my, is it not high? I want y'all to look at how that shad's acting right there. He's acting just like a pilchard would, or a big manhattan. That's how I learned to hook these this way. Just one time like that. Skipping them up under mangroves, we'd catch snook, tarpon, reds, sometimes old big trout, at high tide especially. And every once in a while a Goliath grouper, a small one, a juvenile. But it makes a difference how you hook bait. A big difference in what size hook you use. It's just so important, folks. It makes all the difference. It makes the difference. The difference is so much. It's daylight and dark. In other words, you're going to catch fish if you balance your stuff out, and a lot of them. And if you don't, you're not going to hardly catch any. Look here, I'm done bit again. Look here. Let's let him go with it. Now that was off in about 14 feet of water right there, so that could be what I'm after, but we're going to find out right here shortly. He's still on there. He's still moving off. Let's see what we got. Okay, we got a hook in him. I believe it's what we're looking for. No, it ain't. It's still a lot of fun, though. Oh, he just barely hooked. I like that. That's all you have to do. That size 1 hook is a perfect size for this size of bait right here. 4 to 5 inches. Okay. I'm not going to flip him in with this 8-pound line. These fish are too big, too heavy. Quit. You don't do it. Okay. Yeah, my thumb's already getting sore, folks. Right there. Just let it go. So really all I'm doing on the hook set, I wished I could show. All I'm doing is reeling to the fish. Then all of a sudden y'all hear my drag slipping kindly before I set the hook. And that's on purpose because it's light line. That's the reason for that. And these chemically sharpened hooks that we have this day and time are so sharp, they're like needles. It don't take much to penetrate a fish's mouth. So really I'm just reeling, excuse me, against the fish. All right, let's chunk her back there again. I'm a little bit high right here. All right, we just had one pick it up off the bottom. That shad hit the bottom and he fluttered a couple times, and then I felt a boom, light tick. So we got a fish on here, and he's moving towards the left. Maybe y'all can see that. All right, let's see what he is. Let's see what we got here now. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one right there, folks. That's a good one. Ooh, me. He's come out of that deep water. Oh, my goodness. What a bass. That fish was down there. Now, he was down there 15 feet deep. Okay. Spit up that shad right then. Come here, boy. Okay. My goodness. You talking about catching some fish. Now, that fish is kind of skinny, but that's a long fish right there, folks. Okay, let's let him go. Big female fish right there, older fish. let's put us another shad on. Woo, I would have done left, but they won't quit biting. And another thing is, I keep thinking about them strappers. If you notice now, these threadfin ain't red nosing a bit. So that 8 ounces, a cup full of salt normally gets the job done, folks, every time. Unless you catch some gizzard shad that's on a flat, on a mud flat, that's full of sand. They're just full of sand. Okay, we're on the bottom of the bottom. Probably 15 foot deep right there. Thereabouts. The rain cleared out, the sun's shining, and the fish are still biting, and I got my braid wrapped around my rod tip, got it loose, so that's good. Oh my, look at that, I got a bite. Look yonder, folks. But look right here too. Got a fish easing off with it. Let's see, we got him stuck. Golly. Woo. Fish is fighting, whatever he is. It's a bass. Good bass too. Come on in here, old buddy. That one there's got some beautiful markings on him. Quit. You're done, you're done. He's got some lipstick on him. I'll show y'all what I'm talking about. Quit. Ah. See that black lipstick on him? He's, what do they call them folks? Oh, Gothic. He's a Gothic bass. Okay. Ain't that pretty? That's kind of unique right there. Let's let him go. Good fish, good fish. I'm gonna tell y'all something, folks. I've been sitting here for about an hour and a half. I can't show all these fish, but behind this point right here, it is absolutely stacked with fish. I'm still getting bites. And, you know, like I said, I had 3 or 4 areas that I was going to go into. Because of the weather conditions, I figured that it would take me a little time to catch them, to figure out what to do to catch them. Even with live bait, normally after a front, you know, after the front actually passes through, well, then you have kind of a tough time of catching them. Now, tomorrow would be a bad day, probably, but for real a bad day. But you never know. You just have to go. You have to go. Sometimes these fronts don't affect fish. And, you know, I don't have any explanation for it. It's just the way it is. But now, right now, points, whether it's main lake points or secondary points, is what I'm going to probably focus on, you know, fishing this way for the next month or so. They always prove to be productive as the water temperature cools. And then after this, those fish actually get on bluffs or bluff banks. And that's a lot of fun too. Okay, one more time. Let me do it in a gentle way. There's something wrong with me. It's a mental thing. It's not, this ain't normal. For a 59-year-old man, I'm not normal. There's no way. Okay. It's scary. Well, folks, we're back home. I'm going to tell you what, that was a lot of fun, especially fishing with a light action rod and a 1000 size reel loaded with 8-pound test line. It's a little extreme, I mean, for real. Let's say that striper, you know, and you never know when you're live bait fishing that striper could have weighed 25 or 30 pounds. And if that was the case, well, he'd probably still be fighting and pulling drag. Or he'd done broke off by now. But it's still a lot of fun to try to catch these bigger fish using smaller tackle like this. And like I said, live bait fishing is a lot of fun. When it comes to catching multi-fish species, hey, live bait fishing is the way to go. Never know what you're going to catch. I want to say God bless each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all very much for all the great comments. I read each and every one of them. I want to say thank y'all. Hey, woo. I'm talking about woo. I'm wanting to go back fishing because they're still biting, but I can't. I got to work. Hey, woo. Woo, woo. Hey, man, I'm talking about woo. And remember, go fishing when you can, because it's good for you.